Hello, everyone. My name is Omar, and throughout the span of your life, you've probably come across the question of what the most interesting animal in the animal kingdom might be. Most likely, that's not a chameleon, and which is totally okay. But I'm gonna bring you through my headspace on why I believe that they rise above most animals when it comes to this discussion. So, from their distinct ability to change colors and the breakdown of that, from their weird googly eyes to even their extremely unique and strong tongue, I believe chameleons are one of the most interesting animals that you can even so much as keep in your household. Um, Chameleons have so many different capabilities and different characteristics that make them stand out so much, and it makes them a lot of fun and enjoyable when it comes to observing them. Chameleons were believed to have originated from Africa, from what people think around 100 million years back, and have 160 different species. Of those 160 different species, most of all can change colors, just not as what most people think they can. They can't really just stand on a branch and then turn brown. That's not really how it works, unless we're talking about the Smith's dwarf chameleon, which is the only exception that does do that. For most other chameleons, they do change colors, but more dependent on their emotion and, more importantly, their communication with other chameleons as well as predators. When it comes to chameleon interaction, they're more so changing colors when it comes to, for example, males trying to show more aggression by becoming more vibrant and more bright, or on the other side, showing submission when they're turning a little bit darker. When it comes to females, they can generally kind of act the same way, except they'll more so show change in coloration when they know they're ready to mate or reproduce. With that being said, there's still an area where chameleons will show coloration change when it comes to things like predators and humans, which can kind of fall under the same bubble. But either way, when a chameleon is stressed out, it'll more so turn dark and show that it's not comfortable or it's stressed out and it wants to be left alone. And when it's more bright and closer to its natural colors is when you know that it's happy and it's relaxed and everything is okay. Aside from just their coloration change, which was pretty much the selling point for me when I got my own chameleon, there are a lot of different distinguishing features that they do have that make them so unique in comparison to other animals. For example, the chameleon's tongue is probably one of the most advanced tongues in the animal kingdom. Um, with the ability to stretch out to 1.5 times its body size and even so much as carry 1/3 of its body weight, it's probably one of the coolest tongues inside of the animal kingdom. Like I mentioned, it can hold a saliva that's similar to human saliva, except 100 times more viscous, making it able to hold that third times or 1/3 of its weight on its tongue. So the structure of its tongue starts off in the back of their mouth where the hyoid bone is. After that starts the accelerator muscle. The accelerator muscle is what helps them precisely shoot to wherever they want to go at the speed that you can see them do. To give you an example, they shoot at 2,500 meters per second in less than 1/10 of a second, which is we can see with our naked eye, but not really very descriptively. So, just for an example, I would watch my chameleon eat by recording it in slow motion, just to give you an idea on how fast that is. The next part is going to be the retractor muscle, which is going to be that middle part that acts as an accordion. It can stretch out for how long it needs to go to get whatever prey it needs, and then it'll retract back whenever it grabbed or even missed whatever it was aiming for. The last part is going to be the tip of the tongue, which is like a concave shape, and it is like that so to increase the surface area at which it can grab its prey. So it allows it to kind of entrap it whenever it does shoot their shot and try to bring back whatever it wants to eat. That's where all that sticky saliva that I was talking about earlier lies, and that's kind of what helps all the magic happen. So aside from their tongue being really cool, they also have different body parts that are honestly really amazing to me. One of the other cool parts, in my opinion, is going to be the eyes. So before I go into detail about that, I wanted to share a personal experience. When I first got my chameleon, obviously you notice their googly eyes just pointing around, being really goofy and weird looking. But one thing I noticed is whenever I fed him, he would turn his whole head and focus both of his eyes on whatever he was trying to eat. So after further research, I looked up that this is called binocular vision. Basically, this is where, like I said, they turn their whole head and they focus on one thing, and it kind of helps their depth perception. So it allows them to aim more precisely and bring back whatever they need. So a lot of people also compare Chameleon's eyes like phone camera lenses, to where they can move around, and once they stop and focus, it'll, you know, like focus right away, and then they can kind of zoom in whenever they want, and depending on the circumstances. Another cool part about their eyes is their ability to see UV. So when it comes to chameleon interaction, they're able to see each other better in the dark because of this ability. So chameleons are very fluorescent under light, so it kind of makes them easier to pop out when it comes to, like I said, other chameleons, but even also other animals that are able to see UV in that sense. Aside from all of these cool features that chameleons have, like I mentioned multiple times, I do have one as a pet, which I would have with me, but he's kind of going through shed right now, so he's been a little aggressive, and I just kind of want to leave him be where he can stay humid, and he's also resting right now, so I didn't want to disturb him. Either way, owning a chameleon was definitely like it was a crazy cool experience, and still is. It definitely brought me closer to, you know, the reptile kingdom, and showed me, you know, how cool the chameleon can actually be. It was definitely, you know, a long process, and we're still going through it, but it showed me how interesting and cool that the chameleon is, and just all other species among that, and it just really gave me a good idea on how cool they are and how much they can do that not many of us can really know. So I wanted to also show what I give my chameleon while I feed him. It's calcium with D3. It combines with the UV light to replicate what the sun gives him and help prevent metabolic bone disease, and, you know, just keep him happy and healthy. I also have an automatic pressure mister, which gives him mist every day, every hour, and kind of helps the environment stay humid and allows him to be able to go through shed when he needs to and stay healthy. And I also have a pressure mister, which kind of more so replicates rain, so it'll kind of give us a little bit of a bond too. Whenever I'm able to spray him, he'll come close to me, and it kind of gives us a little bit of interaction. But yeah, that sums it all up.